Hi guys, so let's go over 2 day trades that I took this week. Beautiful setups again, but also something that I really learned and a new rule that I implemented from it. So definitely some lessons involved here. We're gonna start with the AUD USD one. So we have a nice opening gap here. Just you see the gap between the wicks here that happened when the markets opened this week on Sunday night, and this is a natural magnet for price. And when we came into this 4 hour supply here, this general area here as a supply, then I knew that we could get high quality shorts from that, especially from this fair value gap here on the 4 hour. So when we jumped down to the low time frame, I already knew when the session opened that I'm gonna look for shorts, and we have nice equal stacked here on the lower time frame, a London high liquidity up for grabs, and then we see that the session opens with a nice fake bear move. So we already have a seller's trap in place. Perfect. We stop all the early sellers out. We stop all the people out that think that London high holds, and then we give a beautiful break of structure to the downside. We close beyond this here, we close beyond this here on the M5. Also the M15, you see that we get an M15 close break of structure here with a M15 fair value gap. So this was all lining up beautifully, and I was targeting the gap here right away. And then when I saw it coming back up, I essentially just took it here by limit order just for my 2R. So I didn't really refine my entry too much, just going for 2R. And then I got tagged into the trade nicely. First it dumped a little bit, then it came back up, and we closed down here and then shot up again. And then the market showed lack of momentum, but it was still retracing very correctively. So I still had hope in that or belief in the setup. Even though it was getting very late. But the correction, man, it just suggested that it's gonna dump any second now. But ultimately, I kind of felt stuck, like not really knowing what to do. This is really something that doesn't happen too often to me, that I get stuck in drawdown and just it doesn't go anywhere. So ultimately, it tried to break lower here, failed again, and then I just had enough, man. I just closed it here for half a loss. It's really something that I never do, but it was so late in the day and it couldn't break, and I already gave it so much time. I felt it was right to just close it. So yeah, that's that. Beautiful trade idea, but they don't all work out. And when we jump out of the replay tool here, let me just go back here. So that was here. We actually see that we were just wrong on the idea, and I'm grateful being wrong and only taking half a loss, man. That's really a good surprise, let's say. So I'm happy with that. So I took another trade in the following day on NZD USD that we're gonna discuss next. So thanks for meeting me back on NZD USD. As you can see, we have a nice strong supply here that led to a push down and ultimately for lower lows and breaking for our structure. So this is a super powerful supply level. And we also got the inducement here that we just swept. So for me, this was also a super nice area to look for shorts. And when we go on the low time frame, I rewinded this a little more. So let's just play it out on the 5 minute. So this was a little more tricky. I'm gonna give you the low time frame analysis first, and then I'm gonna tell you why this was more tricky than usual. So we give it the sweep here of the inducement of what I just showed you here. Give it the sweep, and then we have a nice first 5 minute push down. No break of structure yet, nothing to do yet. But then we fail to break higher, and we give a beautiful close break of structure here down here. Then we also give a 15-minute close break of structure down here. If you see this as a base candle, this is where price paused, and then we close below it. So for me, even though it's not as obvious, this little base candle I referred to as a structural low, we close below it. So for me, it was also a 15-minute structure, close break, and a nice big fair value gap. So for me, low time frame confirmed this enough And I also liked from where we came back up, because this price leg, the discount begins here. So it was not as likely, in my opinion, that this would continue higher from not even discount, you know. So I just expected it to go lower at least, even if it maybe not hit my TP. First it has to come into discount and then either manage or whatever. So that was my hypothesis. So I got tagged into this trade, and I was just completely wrong on the trade. That sometimes just happens. This didn't stop me out in TradingView, but it was like a short little news push. So with some spread, I mean, the trading conditions on this pair are really not ideal, because it's always like tiny stop losses. This was a big stop loss visually, but it's just 7 pips. And the spreads are shit, so I actually got stopped out here, even though I gave it all that buffer. But ultimately, price was making higher highs anyway, so I was just wrong. And I'm gonna tell you why I think this wasn't actually an A+ setup. And I wouldn't say I regret the trade, because it taught me something, but it was just not as good as what I normally take. Okay, so the first catch, the first little invalidation, like the little yes but of this trade, is the sweep size. You know, we swept the 4-hour high by 0.2 pips, man. That's not good enough, and that's normally something I pay more attention to. It's just visually, I think it looks like a little bit more like if GU would sweep like that, it would be a full pip. And that's why I think this went unnoticed to me. I normally insist on at least it sweeping by a pip, like something that you visually can easily see, and this is just too minor for a sweep. So that's catch number 1. And catch number two is, look how New York is already made a big move. That is normally when the reversal likelihood goes down. You know, New York is most likely to reverse after it opens in a certain direction and then it just reverses. You know, like it happened here. This fulfilled the objective, trapping all the sellers, giving the institutional buyers better orders, better fills beneath or underneath London session, stopping all the London people out, session liquidity taken, and then the reversal in New York that just happens so often happens. So the session was essentially already over. This was a very late entry, and right now this week New York is still in summertime, London is in winter time already, so the session overlap is longer. That's why I took this trade in the first place. Normally this is too late for an entry, but because of this time shift this week, I allowed myself to take this very late. But you see how the New York is basically done. Like, it's not typical for for New York to reverse like a third time after already expanding that much. Like, that was just, I don't know, man. It was a little forced, like, or a little blind, to be honest. Like, I was so focused on low time frame, and to be honest, it's human that I do this mistake, but I gotta be better than that. High time frame, check, good. Low time frame, structurally, super good. M5 and M15, clean AF. But the session context is what I missed here. You know, that's what I just told you. We have the trap, we have the reversal. It reversing again after such a big range, after creating such a big push, is just not as likely. No matter how big the other confluences are, this is something that I have to just make myself more conscious again, and I'm gonna be fine. So I would say it's an avoidable loss, but you know, sometimes you need these minor slip-ups to get sharp again and to be reminded to pay attention to some things that are just not coming up, that are not so often relevant, you know. So I'm grateful for this trade. It was a good loss in that sense, and that's it, guys. So 1.5 R drawdown now. This was now 2 losses in a row, 1 half loss, 1 full loss, and we know that if we take the A+ setups and we lose, even though this was maybe only an A setup, not A star, but still, when we lose, we come closer to the next win, guys. So I'm ready for the next trade. I'm gonna be patient with it, and I'm gonna pay more attention to to the range stuff that I just explained. And I'm not going to be surprised if the next one is going to be a winner again. Until then, I wish you a good day. Thanks for your attention. If you have any questions, as always, you can just ask me. And see you in the next one. Take care.